The best thing about wrestling in the latter part of 2021 have been all these surprises smacking us into the face. I mean, Becky Lynch, Brock Lesnar, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. I mean, that last one was barely a secret, but don't you come into my house and pretend you didn't have some water behind your eyes. The point is that it's really fun. It doesn't always just have to be about wrestlers popping up from nowhere and going, oh, I'm making a debut. Sometimes you could also tie this into the story. And that's why I, Simon Miller, here at What Culture Wrestling, am saying that these 5 surprises are about to come to WWE. Why? Here's why. We shall start with number 5, because if I start with number 3, YouTube would just implode, and we are going to take a little trip to next year's WrestleMania, because there are 2 people right now who are bros and are getting on very well that you know are about to split up. But I don't want to do it in the way that you would assume we were going to do it. Because the general idea has always been that when RK Bro do fall apart, which they will do because Vince McMahon is absolutely obsessed with pulling apart tag teams, it will be Randy Orton giving Riddle an RKO, and this would be absolutely fine. Riddle can sell it like his childhood hero has betrayed him. We'll all feel sorry for him. He can get the big win at WrestleMania, and then we can skip down to the ice cream store and have a lick. What's far more interesting, though, is to spin all of that around and do it the other way. Straight away, you'll be going, Simon, you can't have Matt Riddle as a heel. And my question to you is, can't you? Can't you? Because I think we can. I mean, one criticism that people have about the Riddle character is that he just comes across as a bit of a goof and he needs a serious edge. Well, what better way to get that in the same way that Kurt Angle did back in the day, by turning on Randy Orton and being all like, Randy, you were an asshole to me for all these months and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. Now you could break his neck. Don't break his neck. Plus, it ties into this video because you get that surprise factor and I absolutely love it. So I am putting my money where my mouth is and saying that some point over the 6-month period, this is what we'll do. They'll have lost the tag team championships, they'll be in the ring. You think they're about to have a moment when Riddle just kicks Randy Orton right in the head, and I'll be sat there on my couch going, I got it right, and then realizing I'm a massive loser. I'd have him win at WrestleMania too. I mean, WWE won't do that, but I certainly would, and then we really would be off to the races. Moving on to number 4, we will keep things far more simple and say yes, a big surprise will be The Rock returning to WWE. What we don't know is when. Given that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are now fighting at Crown Jewel, there's a bunch of people saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be WrestleMania 38, but I just don't see it, because this is Dwayne Johnson we are talking about. He is bigger than wrestling, he transcends all of this, and his schedule and timing are so nuts to try and figure out. I think you need more of a lead-in than September, when I'm recording this, into April. If anything, you're going to want to do at least a year, and we all know how Rocky likes doing that. And actually, he would be completely right this time, because WWE should be milking this for all it's worth. As soon as you announce The Rock is going to be any kind of TV show, the numbers go up. So if you can get it across to people, look, for the next year, he's going to keep coming back, he's going to keep coming back, he's going to keep coming back, probably doing iPhone videos. You're probably going to have a groundswell of emotion, which right now, if you're a wrestling company, is what you need. This is especially true when you remind yourself that it very well could be his last proper run and match. I mean, he's 50 years old. If he loses to Roman Reigns, are we really all of a sudden going to bring him back to do something else? I don't think so. And he'll likely go in the Hall of Fame. So this one we have to be patient with. So if you gotta give it a while, give it a while. Point is WrestleMania 2023. And as I've just given you a really long-term, long-form one as well, let's go crazy short and turn our attention to the Survivor Series. Right now, we have the pieces in place to do Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. So like Nike, just do it. No classic WWE switching the titles just before the pay-per-view. Becky versus Charlotte is one of the biggest matches you can do in the promotion. And once again, just take your binoculars and look at the wrestling landscape right now. Everybody is giving us these matches that make you go like this because you're so pumped, and it's what WWE needs. So just put it on my television. And I know that we've seen Flair and Lynch wrestle time and time again, but they are like completely different characters now. Well, not Charlotte, but Becky is, and they always have such tremendous chemistry. This one is a no-brainer. And don't give me this, oh, we can't do it because it's heel versus heel either. So what? Come up with an idea. Get the creative team on it. If you live your life that way, my word, it would be so boring. There's so many things you can do, and it may be really entertaining because each of them is going to try and out-cheat the other. That could be kind of funny. If you put the likes of Big E versus Roman Reigns on that card as well, all of a sudden it's like a super duper one. And let's talk about the finish. Can you see Charlotte Flair losing? No. Can you see Becky Lynch losing? No. So in your tum-tum you have that seed of doubt where you don't know what's gonna go on. And if you haven't realized this by now, 9 times out of 10, that's when wrestling is at its best. And I've mentioned our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, we love you, a couple of times, and that's because he does come in at number 2. As I say these words, he has been champion for around about 14 months, which is an incredible reign, especially in 2021 WWE. But at some point, he has to drop that title, and I'm sorry, but that is going to be quite the surprise. So who is it going to be? That is what we want to know. And for me, you've got to do the opposite of what we did at WrestleMania 30 when it came to Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Now, I'll be honest with you, I do think that it helped Brock because he turned into this crazy end-of-level boss. But this time around, you need to take all the momentum that Roman Reigns is going to get by beating the likes of Brock and potentially beating the likes of The Rock and give it to a brand new guy that you're going to strap the rocket pack to. And look, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but pick someone, believe in them, and send them to the moon. At the moment, too, surely it's got to be Bron Breakker. I mean, if you see how he's being treated on NXT, they clearly like him. And the good thing about all of this is that now that Vince McMahon is in control of NXT 2.0, it means when he does get to Raw or SmackDown, he ain't going to be jobbed out, he ain't going to disappear, and we ain't actually give him a proper push. It's definitely one of the better things about the brand new NXT. And I'd absolutely be all good with this because it's a Steiner taking on an Anoa'i probably at WrestleMania. Because I'm a massive wrestling nerd and I like the legacy and the history, it just ticks all my boxes. Also, as a quick side note too, as I did mention going to the moon, if you wanted to have Cameron Grimes do it, I wouldn't be adverse to it, but I also understand how WWE works, and this dream is never going to come to pass. And we shall finish this list in at number 1 with the most 2021 entry ever. It's the Forbidden Door. Now, for those that don't know, this is a magical pathway where you can be in one promotion and all of a sudden turn up in another promotion, and every single hardcore wrestling fan on the planet loses their mind because they can't believe what's going on. It's great. It's something that AEW, New Japan, and Impact Wrestling, especially over the last 12 months, have taken advantage of wonderfully. But what I am proposing to you now is that somebody else may get into the mix. And look, yes, I get it. WWE is known very much for being a closed-off promotion, but things could change, especially when you're in a wrestling war. Now, I'm not saying they're going to work with AEW, and I'm not saying they're going to work with Impact, and I'm not saying they're going to work with New Japan, but there are a ton of other promotions that they could reach out to, and why the hell not? And sure, yes, you wouldn't get the biggest of the big-time wrestlers, but that's not what it's about. It's about creating a buzz. So I am saying, at some point over the next 12 months, you are going to see a WWE guy in another promotion, or maybe even another promotions guy in WWE. I mean, imagine Brody King popped up in NXT and he gave Tommaso Ciampa that Eye of the Needle slam thingamajig he does. Don't pretend you wouldn't love it, because you would. And yes, if you had mentioned this to me a year ago, I'd have gone, absolute moron, and I would have kicked you in the groin. But everything has changed, and I could see there being some kind of agreement between WWE and Ring of Honor. I mean, it'd be well hard to, I don't know, send a Dolph Ziggler to one of their events, because it mostly benefits ROH, but you just never know. And if WWE finds itself looking at worrying ratings again, I think they will pull out all the stops, not starting at all, but down the line, doing the Forbidden Door. Of course, there's every chance I'm getting carried away, but that's what being a wrestling fan, especially when wrestling is so good, is all about. You should be able to fantasy book, you should be able to speculate, and you should be allowed to enjoy yourself, which is what I have just done. So thank you for joining me. Also, please do go in the comments and let me know what you think about these 5 things, and let me know other surprises you think WWE can do, and hell, let me know what Forbidden Door things could go down in WWE. Also, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read articles like this and just learn everything about professional wrestling. Make sure you follow us on social media, and why don't you watch another video for entertainment? My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always. Have a good day, have a good week, have a good month, have a good year, and I'll see you on the next one.